What video game character do you relate the most to?
Link from Zelda.
Mhm.
You can pick the Zelda that you like.
Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Riccardo, the CPO of My Neighbor Alice, a fully on-chain multiplayer game built on Chromia, where anyone can buy and own virtual lands, collect and build exciting items, and meet new friends. Thank you for joining us at NFTVerse today, Riccardo.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's jump into a couple of fun questions first. What video game had the biggest impact on you as a product developer? Maybe it was one of the first games you played. Maybe it was Zelda.
Yeah, I would say probably Breath of the Wild. I kind of left gaming at some point, and that's the game that brought me back in. And I really think it's a masterpiece. It's something that when you play, you're like, oh, I would like to build it myself, something like this.
Can you tell us a bit maybe about the origins of My Neighbor Alice and just more about the project, some of your goals, your mission for the months ahead?
Okay, so My Neighbor Alice, as you know, is a fully decentralized game. So it runs entirely on blockchain or on a peer-to-peer network for the multiplayer, for the position of the player, but all the logic is actually on-chain. And the goal was to make an MMO on-chain. But then the additional challenge that we took is, can we make something that is nice? Can we make something that is not PvP? It's not one person against the other. It's not one player against the other, or like guilds that fight each other. Let's try to make something positive that gives a message of sharing and caring, which is what, in my opinion, Web3 is. And that was quite, in my opinion, the revolutionary part, because we made something that is kind. We make something where you win if you help the others, and that's, to me, it's super nice.
What gamers can expect when jumping into the game, and what differentiates everything that you're building there?
Yeah, so if we think about what is the differentiator factor of My Neighbor Alice, if we don't have a competition part or a PvP part, we definitely are more skewed towards personalization and self-expression. And in order to achieve this, we had to create a sort of new layer for NFTs, we call it originals, where you can truly personalize your NFTs. So when you get an NFT, something static nowadays, what we created is a sort of engine that allows your NFT to be truly unique, truly yours, and customizable. So when you are in My Neighbor Alice, you can grow plants of cotton, you can create a new material, you can create new fabrics, and then you can put them together into, for example, a very unique t-shirt or a very unique couch or furniture for your house. So essentially, we have a super extensive and modular way to create assets.
A lot of Web3 games struggle with user onboarding and creating captivating gaming experiences. What's your current strategy for growth and user activation?
I started My Neighbor Alice in 2021. Getting to play the game was around 47 different steps. And that was normal because that's what the technology was. You have to import private key, read copy, and so forth. And now we have a process that is much more streamlined. So now you have your phone, you take a picture, you scan it with the Wallet Connect, for example, and then you're in, you have to make a couple of signatures and so forth, but it's quite trivial. We also support, like Bentley, so social logins, where you don't have to own your wallet. But the reality is that we are working on something that essentially becomes one click of a button to log in. And this is where we are going, because we understand that the big friction is from the moment that the player, the potential player sees the game and the moment that he starts playing it. Then there is a first-time user experience that can be improved over and over, but we need to get the player on, right? And this is fully technological. It's something that in 2021 was not possible. We're in 2024 and it's easier, and in 2026 it will be even faster. Yeah, so I just think that it's a matter of time, but will be fantastically easier. I think easier than Steam. I do believe that it will be easier than Steam one day.
So My Neighbor Alice is building on Chromia. Can you speak a bit more to that decision?
Okay, we have a whole game logic on chain. And when I talk with the different projects that build on EVM or on Solana, they don't believe it. So that's really the point, right? I think nowadays there are a bit more blockchains that allow this to happen, to have fully on-chain logic. But back in the time, Chromia was the only one, and we had produced so much code in the meanwhile. So really the reason why we use Chromia is a technology fit and the possibility to actually make what we have in Alice possible.
Can you speak a bit to the role of your utility token, Alice, and how players can utilize it?
So the Monero Alice token is useful to purchase items in the game, of course, and the items being clothes, fabrics, furniture, or even the land itself where you play. But also we have a mechanism of staking. So every time that you buy an item with Alice token, a new item where you craft it, 50% of the tokens actually get locked into the object. So this way you have, as a user, you have a value guaranteed. So when you purchase, I don't know, a t-shirt for 10 Alice, 5 Alice get locked in the t-shirt. So it means that at any time you can always get your 5 Alice back. But the most interesting part is that this actually decreases the total supply of Alice in circulation. So participating in the game and creating items in the game increase the value of Alice. If you have a game where I have to purchase a t-shirt and then the t-shirt, the money of the t-shirt gets put back into the system, essentially I'm just inflating the assets in the game and then we'll ask people to buy even more. So essentially you get into an inflation of assets with a similar circulation of supply of tokens. But by staking and locking the tokens within the t-shirt, you can first of all earn a yield out of it, but also we implicitly say to the market, hey, now there is less circulation because people are playing the game. So you buying the token with the expectation of the token increasing in value because people play the game is actually verified.
What advice would you give to games that are looking to integrate a token?
It's quite silly what I'm going to say, but I will say that you have to start from the tokenomics. You have to really understand what is the economy of your token. And I would say that probably would be super difficult. I mean, you will have a lot of tough questions. And that is normal. I mean, every project has it. And I'm pretty confident that if you look around many projects, they don't really solve that question. And that's actually the most important part. Like, work a lot on the parts that are not clear and don't start the development until they are clear. At least the strategy to solve the problem is clear. There is this saying, love the problem and not the solution. And I feel that it's never been so true like in the tokenomics. You really have to spend a lot of time on the problem and not on making the solution. You really have to digest the problem so well then it's intuitive. Like you're not thinking about the solution. I don't know how to explain really, but if you drop water on the floor, you understand that water on the floor is bad, and that's why you dry it up. We don't say, oh, there is water on the floor, let me invent like a new towel. Like you just have to solve that. So I think that's a bit the problem of our system. We don't really understand the problem, and then we end up getting super mega technological things that don't really point at the solution.
When you're not building My Neighbor Alice, what's a hobby or interest that you have that might be a surprise to some of our viewers?
I don't think it would be a surprise, but I do cook like awfully a lot. I actually swapped my kitchen for my living room, so I have a huge kitchen, but a super small living room, for example. That's
what are you known for?
I mean, I'm known for my lasagna, but I think that's quite stereotypical from the Italian guy from Bologna, like pasta with bolognese sauce. But yeah, I would say that. But yeah, I mean, I usually take like one recipe and I do it over and over. Like I do it like 3 months every second day until I kind of master it. So I did this with many things.
Clearly an approach of someone who wants to achieve the best possible lasagna or whatever you happen to be cooking.
I am I'm kind of that person. I like good food. I don't do it for the mastering the technique. I do it because I want to eat the best food, really, I believe.
Well, awesome. So for people watching, where can they find you and learn more about My Neighbor Alice?
Yeah, so we have our website, myneighboralice.com/play. And at the moment, we're having a free lens where people can test the game. So usually lens are on sale at around like 250 Alice at the moment. Of course, it goes up and down. But we have this campaign that allow people to play for free for a limited amount of lens. So I would say that if you're curious about what Web3 gaming will be, it's good to start.
And thank you, Riccardo, for that glimpse into the world of My Neighbor Alice. We're very excited to see what we can do together at NFTVerse and explore the game as it develops and everything in Web3 gaming in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.